Here with us Bhavesh Jain, MD and CEO of TransUnion CIBIL. A very good morning, sir. It's very nice to have you here at ET Now joining us. I'd love to start with, I was going through the latest report actually, which says that over the past decade, credit penetration has expanded quite significantly, reaching nearly 28% of the eligible population. Now, given this, what is the biggest structural shift in India's credit system, credit ecosystem over the last decade that you've seen?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I would say the biggest structural shift has been multifold. First is in terms of the demographics. The youngsters have joined the credit ecosystem, and the first product which they prefer to take is actually the consumer durable loans, largely for phone financing. Second biggest shift which has happened is for women borrowers. Uh, and third biggest shift which has happened is this credit dispersion happening in semi-urban and rural locations. So 39% of the credit active population is actually the youngsters or the Gen Zs. 30% of the credit active population is women borrowers, and upwards of 60% of the credit active population is actually Suru. So if I were to talk about India's credit growth story over last decade, it's actually diversity and the depth which has happened in this period.
Okay, Mr. Jain, afternoon, Ashesha this side. Thank you for joining us. And let's also talk about some of the other trends that are shaping in the industry. And we did talk about the trends that are shaping up, but how has borrower behavior evolved over the last decade? And which borrower segments do you believe will drive credit growth over the next 5 years?
The credit portfolio quality has improved significantly in last few quarters. And if I talk about the recent quarters, it has come down to almost 1.3%. And most of the retail credit products delinquency is at a decade low. That's the good news, if I may say. And second is in terms of which consumer segment will bring in the highest credit growth. It has to be our youngsters and the Gen Zs, because while a huge consumer segment has come in through the Gen Zs and the youngsters, looking at our demographics, that's the segment which will continuously be tapped by the credit institutions over the next 5 to 10 years. And not just the Gen Zs, but actually it's going to be the women borrowers as well. And most importantly, it's going to be the deep geographies within India. So credit is going to go deep into the Bharat, I would say, and that's where the biggest opportunity of growth will happen over the next 10 years.
All right, Mr. Jain, that's on credit growth. But gold loans specifically have also expanded quite sharply. That's nearly 4x since March 2022. Can you give us some insight on what's driving this surge and what are the latest trends in the gold financing space?
So the biggest reason are two for the gold loan growth. First is in terms of the convenience aspect, that a consumer walks into any credit institution and across the counter gets a gold loan immediately. Second is the appreciating price of gold, and also that it's the most accessible available collateral for Indians in the country. And within the gold loan, it's almost 40% of women borrowers who actually go for gold loan. These are all the key highlights, but what's something which I want to share is also that one in five borrowers who are taking gold loan are actually Gen Zs or youngsters. Second is that one in five gold loan being given is actually to NPA borrowers who have 90 plus or a serious delinquency on their other credit facilities, and they are given gold loan. So these are some of the key highlights, I would say.
Okay, so one in every five gold loan is given to an NPA. That's the word coming in. I mean, given the history of NPA that person has, can you elaborate on this further? What will this have an impact? What kind of impact are we likely to see as a result of this?
So it's the consumer, probably the NPA consumer who does not have any other credit option, is resorting to gold loan to make sure that they either come out of the current NPA or use that gold loan available amount for any other purposes. So yes, those 20% of the borrowers who are NP and going for gold loan is something for us to watch out as an industry. And second thing is that the moment a consumer takes multiple small ticket gold loan and the cumulative amount exceeds 2.5 lakh or higher, then that customer segment is also risky. So I would like to call out these two trends which are emerging for gold loans.
All right, that's on the trends in the gold loan space. Can you further elaborate on which regions specifically in India, if there's a statistics on that, which regions are emerging as the biggest growth drivers in terms of these gold loans?
So gold loan, I would say pre-COVID is to be largely concentrated around the southern states. Now it has gone across the country, whether it is the western states, whether it is the northern states, whether you include Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. So the dispersion of credit or the advancement of gold loan is quite secular across most of the states in India, unlike the past where it used to be only the southern state phenomena.
All right, Mr. Jain, thank you so much for all of those insights on credit trends. It was a pleasure having you on with us.
Thank you so much.